Welcome to another edition of Bases and Balls with Guardians broadcaster Jim Rosenhaus, brought to you by the Old 97 Cafe. Always appreciate Rosie making time for us. And the team takes 2 out of 3 from the Royals and then makes a trade. And everyone was speculating, what will the Guardians do? Well, they traded their starting shortstop, Amed Rosario. Let's talk about that first of all, and then we'll get in to Thor, who's coming in to Cleveland. But Rosie, let's talk about Amed Rosario. Hustle, plays hard. Talk about the team's decision of what you know to move on from him at shortstop.
Yeah, not easy. And I know it's something that, it was a topic of conversation that Chris Antonetti was talking about last night. I think they were at a point where they really felt they needed to find out more and give more playing time to Gabriel Arias and Tyler Freeman. And because of what Rosario means to the team, that was going to be really difficult with him still here. A reduced role, I don't know that was an option while he was still here. Just reading between the lines a little bit. Consummate professional. It's funny, you don't know about a player till they're on your team. And honestly, I didn't know a whole lot about him when the Lindor trade was made. And he came in here. They asked him to play the outfield a couple of times coming out of spring training, and it didn't go well, but he never complained about it. And he said, I'll go back out there, even when it wasn't going well. And the way he plays the game, I think, especially last season, helped set a tone for what turned out to be a really good team. And, it still applies. One of the last really good things he did here was that 1-0 game against the Phillies last Saturday night. He scored on a pop-up that landed in shallow right center from first base because he was hustling. And so, just a pleasure to be around. One of the smartest people you'll meet in the game. So I think they'll miss him, but it was time, and they need to find out about some of these young kids. And I know they're really excited to see what maybe Gabriel Arias can do now with more of an opportunity. And who knows, maybe even Tyler Freeman gets more of an opportunity as well. And he's played very well.
Arias got the start Wednesday afternoon, and being at the game, I did not realize he's a big guy. I mean, he's a really big guy. So constant at bats, him getting on the field and maybe knowing he's going to get some more innings. I agree. We got to find out what we have at some point, right?
Yeah, and short term, Ray, I mean, he's an upgrade defensively from what they've had. There's no question about that. His arm is unbelievable. He has good range, sure hands. So that right away fills the gap. Can he do what Rosario is doing from a consistency standpoint offensively? We'll see. The potential is there. We've seen it in various points in time with him, more so when the games don't count in spring training. So you'd love to see it carry through to the regular season, but there's something in there that they feel really strongly about offensively. And I hope he gets a chance to play enough where he can show that.
Jim Rosenhaus with us, Bases and Balls. Rosie, what about the depth at those positions, short and second, in the system? And if there is depth, did that also have something to do with the trade?
There's a lot of depth, and I think it kind of goes into, that's the part of the farm system, in addition to pitching, which they've kind of tapped into and maybe tapped out of, for this season. But middle infielders, that has been the watchword for several years. So I think they're trying to find out, and it may take longer than just the 2 months now, but they have Arias and Freeman here now, but there's more coming. And I think they want to know, well, are those the future, or is it the guys who are here now? So there's a lot of moving parts. It's nice to have depth at a certain spot, and I don't think they're done yet, right? Between now and the deadline, I'd be shocked if they are. Maybe they are, but I think they're going to try and do more.
Let's talk about Noah Syndergaard, who they get back in the trade. Of course, the Noah Syndergaard of 7 years ago, he was on the mound and he was bringing it, and he was among the best, really, when you look at it. He's had some problems. Talk about the 2023 Noah Syndergaard that we're getting in this trade.
It's different, and I'm hesitant to say too much because I don't really know, to be honest with you, Ray. And he's scheduled to throw a bullpen in Chicago on Thursday. We'll see, how that goes, what that means, and where it goes from there. But I gotta believe if they acquired him, he's on the injured list right now. But I gotta believe if they acquired him, considering the dire straits that they're in rotation wise, that they feel he can step right in and give them innings. That's the most important thing right now. Are they the same kind of innings he gave, as you said, 7 years ago? Probably not. But you look last year and with the Angels and Phillies, made 24 starts, I think, and ERA was under 5, which, it's not great, but he was able to give him some innings. And I know the Guardians are always confident, pitching wise, that they can unlock some things with different pitchers, mechanically, health wise, things like that. And if it happens, maybe they have something here for the last 2 months of the season.
This also opens up the roster spot, as team president Chris Antonetti said last night. And the plan is Oscar Gonzalez. And you've been talking about him with me a couple of times in the last 4 to 6 weeks, saying that he went to Columbus and he's made some adjustments. So give everyone the update where Oscar Gonzalez is, as we're expecting to see him back in a Guardians uniform.
He's been in a hot stretch, and I know they're excited about that. Look, Ray, last year, I think he'll always be a fan favorite for what he did in the postseason. Can never take that away from him. And he's still a young player. Is there some swing and miss there? Sure. Will he always chase? He's never going to walk more than he strikes out. He's not that kind of hitter. But if he can make more contact and maybe stay off of some stuff that gets him out, then I think he'll be fine. He just couldn't get that going this year up here. But when he came up last year, he was on a hot stretch at Columbus and carried that through. So I'm sure they're thinking a very similar situation. And he might be a different type of hitter and a better hitter, you would hope, with the time spent at AAA. So we'll see what happens. They'll get a chance to play for sure against lefties and maybe even a little bit more than that.
Rosie, the blueprints, if you go back to March, and it wasn't publicized, but I'm sure it was J-Ram 3, Bell 4, Naylor 5, Oscar Gonzalez 6, give or take who's pitching on those particular days. So in a roundabout way now, you have J-Ram having a solid season, Naylor going beyond maybe expectations, Bell's production is on the increase. And if you get an Oscar Gonzalez, maybe making some adjustments like you mentioned and hits more contact, you could be back to maybe the plans of March, maybe not as quick as you wanted it, but you could be back there offensively where maybe you thought you were going to be in the month of April.
Isn't it funny how things work? It's never like the way you draw them up. It just isn't. But maybe they get there at some point in time. So we'll see. It's exciting because it's a power pack. And again, you saw it last year, so many big hits. So maybe he can get back to that. It'd be fun because it's fun when he's around. He's he's just one of those younger players who's enjoyable to have on your team. And hopefully that can happen again.
And the final thing, and I don't think this trade necessarily answers the question, because a lot of people are wondering, will the Guardians be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline? This is a trade that, as you mentioned, brings in a veteran arm to give them some innings, adjustments in the shortstop position where Amed was having some problems defensively. So I don't think this trade answers that question, or do you think it does?
No, not at all. I mean, they needed an arm. So they were, I think somehow, some way they were going to get an arm in here to fill the spot that on Friday, I know they were still trying to figure out. And to some extent, Ray, experience wise, maybe they're better with Amed at short in the short term. But who knows? Maybe Arias fulfills some of that potential here down the stretch, and they are better at short because of the trade. But you do lose something by trading Rosario, so that's why I don't think they're done yet. I think there'll be some more between now and the deadline.
Well, I can't wait to hear you talk about it, my friend. Jim Rosenhaus with us, bases and balls this weekend. He'll be in Chicago. The White Sox on the schedule. Rosie, as always, thanks for making time with us. We'll listen for you in the calls tonight, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. Thanks, my friend.
You got it, Ray. Thanks.